Yo, everybody, it's your boy, King of Chaos, here to bring you my Marvel Rivals definitive ranked tier list. Now, before we get started, I want to have a couple just quick footnotes to let everyone know exactly how I came up with this, where my opinions and data comes from, etc., etc. I want to start off by saying that I think that overall the game is phenomenal, and I think that any character can be used to do well by a good player. However, what I'm going to be doing is explaining the characters based off of what we're seeing at the high end and ranked for Marvel Rivals comp, and just breaking down exactly who I think is in what tier, and their overall placement. I'll also be including information and referencing really just metadata that we got from the top 500 players. About I think 330 of them have their information public. So fortunately, we're able to just look at them, see some of their stats, and look at the characters when it comes to referencing their overall success. Now, I'm just going to get right into it and go from order to order. I want to let all of you know if you just skip to the end of the video to disagree with me, it's fine. But I want to reiterate one more time. This isn't about fun. This isn't about ease of use. This is about results. And at the end of the day, if you're here and you're tired of losing ranked, you're probably going to get some explanations on characters and why you don't see some of the more, I guess, niche ones. Fringe is maybe a better choice of words. So I'm going to start with Captain America. Personally, I like Captain. I think that he's good, but in ranked, you run into a lot of issues where Cap can't be utilized in the same route. I mean, he's really good for pressuring opponents and I guess drawing attention, but if you're not inside a room where you can really utilize or a close space where you can really capitalize on his combos, you're not going to get the same effect. So because of that, I'm going to put Cap actually in B tier, probably would be a little bit closer to C tier when it comes to overall performance, just a comparison with the other Vanguards. Now, Strange, I don't think it should come to surprise anyone that he's S tier. I mean, we've all been portaled either off the map, you've been portaled into the spawn zone by a good Strange, because it's not as obvious as everyone thinks. If you don't know what I'm referencing, is Strange has an ability when you're capturing to just create a portal. You just spawn it above them, dive down. Most people are either rushing you or in the midfield. So now you're basically defending when you were attacking, and it puts you in a great position. Combined with that, Strange has great damage. His ultimate is probably within the top, I'd say, 5 of ultimates in the game. So you really are missing out a lot if you aren't playing Strange and ranked. Plus the shield, which is by far his best attribute, a real actual shield, and he takes the role of a Vanguard serious through this. You see a lot of people diving, a lot of people going in, but in my opinion, and this is a little old school, especially when it comes to objective-based games, your goal is to defend. I know a lot of people like to dive and do fancy tricks. I'm not hating on that. But when it comes to success, Strange is being seen used by a lot of the top tier players. And more importantly than that, he's probably the coolest looking of all of them. He can fly. Movability's a little but the only one who beats him out on that is probably Thor. Now, Groot's actually also going to go in S tier, and this is mainly because it has to do with the high skill gap required to play him and pilot him successfully, but a good group can wipe teams out. I mean, they stagger those walls. You shut down shots from Hela. You remove enemies' line of sight. You can even interfere with their ability to heal effectively when it comes to certain characters because, Luna needs to see some of the other quirkier strategists also need to see Loki. They can't just shoot through the walls, which is very beneficial. He also does pretty good damage and doesn't have the worst time shooting people who move around a lot because his spread of attack is pretty damn great. Hulk is a character that has probably the highest skill gap in the game, I'd say, to play well. But when you can play him well, I think he honestly gets up to the A tier. A good Hulk is consistently providing pressure, annoying the enemies. The barrier, his barrier is actually good. It can get you out of Jeff ultimates. It can protect you from, briefly, from even other things like Hawkeye, Luna Snow. I like him for that. I just feel like he probably is harder than most people realize to pilot correctly. But some of the most skilled players like him a lot, and he works really good in a dive comp setting. So just throwing that out there. Magneto, I'm also going to put in A tier. I'm going to put him ahead of Hulk. The barrier is so good. You have an 8-second invulnerable barrier. It takes infinite damage. You can stop an Iron Man. You can stop, I don't know. I'm not sure if Moon Knight's ult can actually be stopped with it, but you can stop quite a bit. And it's just highly effective. Bit of a cooldown lapse, so I don't like him as much as I do Strange. And more importantly than that, I also think that the charges on his primary work, I think he misses out on the consistency of damage you get from some of the other people. Sure, it's explosive projectiles, and that's good, and they go a pretty good distance, but Strange, again, and Groot, I feel you get a more of a bang for your buck while doing less. You don't have to play around that. Penny is another character that I really like, but if I'm being honest, she's probably closer towards the B tier, and I'd say A tier in defensive situations only. I've shut down so many games with Penny just by planting mines outside of the door and some of the lower up to probably, I'd say, platinum elos. And it's because it's so obvious that no one expects it. The tech is simple. You just lay the mines right in front of the door, throw a web right in front of it so people can crawl over it and it'll track to the enemies. I know it sounds pretty basic, but I've had games where I've cleared out 5-man teams, immediately got like a 5-piece, puts me an advantage on my ult meter. It's fantastic. And it often demoralizes the team early on. Unfortunately, Penny misses out in that she doesn't really. She's good at defending, but not protecting. What I mean by that is if you have area control with Penny, that's great. If you're doing something like you're playing defensively, that's cool. But once they really get past her, or if they're smart and they just destroy her little cocoon hatcher, then you're not going to have that much difficulty with her. I mean, she's not that fast. She has some healing with her webs, but overall, she just doesn't have the ability to protect herself or move out of the way as easy as the others. And even with the web sling to like get away, I mean, it's so telegraphed, plus she has to face the direction. She doesn't get that free range movability that someone like Hulk does to really clear the distance, or someone like Strange when it comes to just flying up and, holding. Another note by Strange, he can block hella ults by flying up. Pretty damn cool. Now, Thor is really good, and I'd say he's probably just slightly behind Magneto. And it's because when you factor in team synergies with this and like team combos, a good Thor and Hela can feel unbeatable, especially if the Hela is really good. Thor basically gets to live immortal forever. So in that regard, I think Thor is really great. But if I were to bump him up to S tier because of that, you'd have to bump up Magneto a tier potentially if you're going to factor in Scarlet Witch and his ability, because that Chaos Sword is not bad. Overall, I think that Thor is missing out on some of the support factors. I mean, he really doesn't have any way of protecting his team. He's big. He can push people back, which is nice, but he's not really a defensive type of guy. I mean, even with this little barrier that he creates, I mean, it doesn't really do much for the teammates. I've stood inside that thing and got sniped and it's all the same. I've stood inside and got shot to death by a rocket raccoon. It doesn't do anything for him. Now, Venom, gosh. Personally, I hate Venom, but a good Venom is really problematic. And I'm kind of torn on the fence here. I feel like he's better than Hulk, and when piloted, and he probably can be piloted a little bit better than Thor, but I don't feel him in that same S tier as everyone else does. And I know that's going to be a controversial opinion, but here's why. When you have the ability to pressure the enemies consistently, it's great. It's more of a win more type of character. When you're oppressing them, you're oppressing them. You're spawning them. On spawn, you're just taking out a pick. You're grabbing out a strategist. Maybe you're taking out a DPS. Like you caught a Hela lacking, Hawkeye, whatever. It's nice. But defensively speaking, aside from Venom's speed, being able to have high mobility, he really does miss out on that. I mean, he has moves that are really meant to just distract the enemies. And I know that dive tanks are a style, and I know a lot of you are probably screaming that you don't understand dive tanks. You understand dive tanks. But at the end of the day, the other two are used at a much higher rate. It's just by the numbers. If you don't believe me, you can definitely check out, again, the top 500 players. Most of them have their profiles looked at. And you'll see the numbers. Venom is great. Probably, in the mid to probably high elos. But when you get past Grandmaster and stuff, when you get to the top 500s, I mean, the other two are just more used, with Strange being vastly ahead. So this is going to be the first part where I'd say this is my section of all the Vanguards. You can pause the video to let me know how wrong I am now. Now, T'Challa's S tier because T'Challa can wipe. He can wipe out, a good support. He's really good at just grabbing picks out of nowhere. He set up a nice, good combo, get in, get out. And his ultimate is great for additional follow-ups. And the resets that he gets can add up, especially when you have two strategists in the back line just chilling out. Maybe they're supporting the Groot from the back, the Penny, whatever. He can get in there. He can climb out. Great mobility, great speed. I'm actually not that good at using him, though, despite how highly I'm placing him. But, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Good Black Panther can definitely help with the game, and he handles good backlining as well. So if you're struggling with a Hela, you're struggling with Hawkeye, you might have the potential to take him out. If you catch him lacking and set up that combo, you're going to drain most people's health, no problem. Black Widow is she's not as good as people think she is. She's a bad Hawkeye. I know this is going to sound controversial, and people are going to say, well, what about the Elos where Hawkeye's banned? I'm even going to get into that because, if we're factoring in bannings, then this whole list might as well be thrown in the garbage. Someone's going to tell me in the comment section I should do that anyways. But I mean, she's a bad Hawkeye. Even with their team up ability, I just don't find her to be as useful as him. Anything she can do, he does better. I mean, I suppose if you're having struggling with aim ability and ease of use, that's fine. But when it comes to the top level play, there's a definitive sniper that takes the spot, as far as I'm concerned, and most people, because he's constantly banned, and that's Hawkeye. Hawkeye is amongst two other DPSs, in my opinion, the strongest pound for pound killers in the game. A good Hawkeye just feels oppressive. They poke out from the right vantage point, snipe you. They can charge up, snipe. It's just so hard. You need someone to get in there. Instances like that are where I think Hulks and, even in some cases Venoms would be really good because they can capitalize on that. Because eventually the Strange Shield, while it is great for defensive purposes, it's not going to help you get in there and really put pressure on them, which I don't think should be a Vanguard's job, but that's not the point of the video. I don't think anyone's going to be really shocked by him being an S tier, so I'm not going to harp his horn. Same with Hela. I think Hela's the best character in the game. I think she's got mobility. Her ult is phenomenal. Probably the second best ult in my opinion. It's fantastic. I mean, you can just wipe out teams upon teams. Yes, Strange can counter it, and other people can bury her up, and you can't kill through Luna like you can with I think one or two other characters, sure, but she has so much versatility. I mean, you can just consistently peck at people. If you combine her with a Thor and a Loki, you take characters that were normally at, like I said, an A tier, you probably push them up, maybe like that A plus tier, if that's such a thing. Hela's phenomenal, no shock there. Iron Fist lacks enough mobility to make him do what he wants to do. Everything that Iron Fist wants to do, in the same way that I correlated Black Widow to Hawkeye, Black Panther just does better. He can get in and out of combat better. He has easier meltdown ability. Now, I will say that in the lower elos, people are going to tell me that I'm crazy. They're going to tell me that, the bronze guy piling Iron Fist went 29-0. That was me. But that's because people don't know how to play against him. You have two supports pairing up, you're not going to have any problem stopping this guy. You sleep him, then you freeze him. Or one of you runs away and you heal each other, he's going to have a tough time wiping anyone. He's good. He does great damage. I like the character so much. He's actually, I think, the character I've played the most outside of Jeff. But he's not good for ranked. And this is just me being objective here. He just lacks the same support that others need. He needs a little bit of a buff, in my opinion, to really take it. And I would honestly put him in the C tier just to reiterate for those who are going to check this out. Do not play this character. This is a troll pick, in my opinion, as far as I'm concerned. If you're trying to shoot for, diamond, Grandmaster, if you want to go to those higher echelons of play, you're going to have a really tough time doing it with him. That being said, there are players who can do wonderful work with him. That doesn't mean that everyone can. That doesn't mean the character's good. It's more of a testament to the skill of the player than it is to the character's overall kit. Now, Iron Man's someone else that I slept on a lot, and I think he could also get pushed up into A+ tier if you were to complain a Hulk, a Strange, and Iron Man. That gamma radiation's nice. He's got great movability. He's a pretty good character. Yeah, he's kind of obvious and easy for Hellas to pick up, but when you and I shouldn't factor in bannings when it comes to ranked, but he's overall a pretty great character. He has amazing range with his unibeam that he shoots out of his chest, so you don't have to worry about the squirrely characters jumping all over the place because everyone knows that there's a Spider-Man that comes in, runs, runs. He just like a gnat, just annoying the hell out of you. And he's really good at just getting those nice pot shots in from a distance. And he can also take advantage of the fact that he can go outside of the map. He can fly all around the map in different areas and almost not fall unless he goes too low. There's no height limit, and there seems to be no actual limit to his ability to just go around the map and just peek out of corners that give him great vantage points. So yeah. Magic, I'm also going to put her in the A tier. I'm not ordering these yet, so no one come for me. I think Magic is probably a misunderstood character in that she works really good rushing down the enemies. But I also feel like with the meta being so heavily driven with people that can just snipe you, she's going to have a tough time even with the extra overhealth that she gets from charging. Yeah, she's got teleport, and yes, she's got good damage. But her ult, in my opinion, is just lacking the same luster as some of the guys you see up here. I mean, Groot's ult isn't as good as hers, of course, in my opinion, at least. if you want to factor in the stun ability, but these guys are real like playmakers in of themselves, and she really has to get in. I've had so many games where she's been shut out simply because I had a Penny Parker. Like Penny Parker shut her out more times than I can count. Same with Spider-Man, some of the other characters, because she needs to be able to get in. I don't know if she needs a buff because she works really well with some other characters. The fact that she has a pairing with T'Challa, Black Panther, and another character we're going to get to very shortly here that I'm going to really surprise all of you with my pick there. I think that she's a solid pick in A. Now, Moon Knight's like, he's like right there in S. Like right there, almost. If I had anything, I'd put Moon Knight probably right at the front of 8s here. And it's because he's really able to take advantage of good cornering, and he's really good at holding position and advancing upon them. A lot of people don't hit the unks. If you're watching this video, if you take nothing else from what I'm saying, please shoot the unks, because he can eat free. And in teams where that happens, it just, he demolishes, no problem whatsoever. If you can play Moon Knight properly, I would highly recommend pairing up with maybe another character we'll get to later, Cloak and Dagger. You get some good combos in, nice vantage points, and just that ult comes quickly. It charges so fast, and it is a good ult. Like I think it's probably, it's in my top 10 favorites just visually, but strength-wise, I think it has to be up there with like one of the ults that can clear straight through Luna or a Mantis's ult. Namor, I'm also going to put him in A tier, but probably closer towards like the end of it. I think Namor pairs really well, especially with Luna Snow. But a lot of people, like I said, kind of similar points to some of the previous characters on here. If you shoot their mechanics, they lose a lot of their luster. And in the higher elos, people aren't just going to let the turrets sit around forever. Sure, they're great positional wise, and you're going to have a good time, just throwing your trident. But when people take out your tools, your toys, you just lose a lot of value. Now, Psylocke, the most annoying character in the game, I actually think that she's not... I couldn't even say it with a straight face. Of course, Psylocke's S tier. Psylocke is annoying. She's irritating. She seems like she has infinite mobility. I don't know if the cooldown is higher than they're saying it is, because I've seen the Psylocke go like in and out 36 times. I don't know. I ain't calling for nerfs, but she is oppressive. If I had to put the top 3 like DPSs, it would be these 3 hands down. In their own category, with some others, potentially touching, like I said, very far behind them. Black Panther's behind all 3 of these, in my opinion, even though he's kind of good uses for counters. But, I mean, Psylocke's just Psylocke. I don't think anyone should be shocked by this. Scarlet Witch is predictable. That ult might as well be screaming, "Someone shoot me." In the higher elos, you're not going to be able to get away with that, and people are going to tear her apart. Yes, you don't have to aim with her. Yes, she's easy of use. There's a reason for that. But she's also easy to counter. All you have to do is listen out for her. She has she has good mobility, I'll give her that. But her range and her attack, she just doesn't have enough support to really be able to contend. And the rate of her damage isn't good enough. I honestly would put her ahead of Iron Fist, but probably just because her ult, in my opinion, is a little bit better. I don't know if you really can catch people lacking in combination with Doctor Strange. But if you take a Scarlet, and if I said Scarlet fought Hela, who are you going to say is going to win that? Do that with anybody above here and tell me if I'm wrong on that. I think Spider-Man's vastly overrated. I do. I think that he's quirky. I think that he's good at distracting people when paired with the Venom. He probably could get to that maybe, I wouldn't even say B+, honestly. Maybe maybe a B+, maybe 87.2%. I don't know. But he's really good at irritating your opponents. However, you lose out on some of the other effects that other people have by this. With mobility that you gain from and his ultimate, you're getting telegraphy. And Spider-Man's really good at just the pop shots. But a lot of people aren't going to be able to go for that in lower elos because you have a lot of people playing a little bit tighter. So he's not going to be able to get those individual picks that he could get. The second he goes to grab your Mantis, well, now he has Iron Man shooting him and Magic chasing him. He doesn't get the same type of freedom that he would get in the lower categories. I don't think that he's a bad pick. I do think troll picks here, but I don't think he's a bad pick. I just feel like he's not as good as people are giving him credit for. And if you were to take the same energy with him and put it in, say, a Moon Knight or a Magic, you're going to have more success. Troll pick, Squirrel Girl. My favorite character in the probably post-beta that I use the most, I'd say, aside from Iron Fist. I played Iron Fist a lot, and Jeff. But she's fun. People think that she's like Junkrat. but she needs more. She needs some help. Yes, you've got a great stun. Yeah, you got a nice high range jump. It's okay, verticality. But the cooldown is kind of corny, if I'm being honest. Like, just give us a different move at that point. It's just, you're just choosing between other moves, and I feel like they got lazy. You're also going to have to deal with the fact that you're not always going to have the high ground, and she loses a lot of her maneuverability when there's not walls, or if she can't like drop down and just clonk enemies. She's going to have a very difficult time fighting an Iron Man. She's going to have a very difficult time getting close to a Namor. She's going to have a very difficult time probably even touching Spider-Man because she can't hit him. I mean, unless he's right in their face, you time the squirrels perfectly. But ask yourself, Spider-Man versus Squirrel Girl, who's taking that in your opinion? Let me know in the comment sections. I love Star-Lord. He's great, and I slept on him. Verticality, amazing ults, good damage. I don't think anyone's shocked by this. I mean, his movability alone allows him to scout ahead of for enemies, but he's also given iframes with his backspin, so he's able to get out of danger, unlike most people. So I love that. Storm is not a troll pick, but she needs, like, she's probably right there. She's probably a C plus tier for me. She needs more love. I don't know what they did to her after like the beta, but she was definitely kicking more ass than this. Her ult is great, but like it's not enough damage in my opinion anymore. And the team boost is just, it's not the same. Granted, if you make it too good, then she's broken and she becomes another one of these guys, and she can fly, and that'll be a real problem. Instead of having snipers, we'll have flying angels from above, or I guess storm goddesses. But she needs a little bit more love. I honestly probably could put her here if I'm being fair, maybe a B minus tier, but she's just, I think she'd lose to Widow probably. I think Spider-Man would probably take her too. Punisher, I say he's a solid A character. I like him a lot. I mean, he's Soldier. He's for the boring Call of Duty. I'm kidding. But he's for the Call of Duty guys. The people who's like the Soldier 76. Just give me a gun and I'll shoot. I don't think anyone's shocked by this. Now, Bucky, I'm kind of on the fence with. I think with Bucky's ultimate factored in and played right, you can pretty much take any 1v1, and that's nasty. And his ult is just, it's a board clear. It's a showstopper. When piloted right, he can get in and just slay teams by himself, literally, and it's fantastic. I'd probably put him slightly behind T'Challa due to his lack of mobility, but these aren't to order anyways. I'll probably do that at the end. Wolverine is what I'm still kind of on the fence about, honestly. I think that he's all right. I don't have strong feelings towards him. I think that his analog for his grab is kind of clunky. I think the Hulk throw works weird. But he's really good at pressuring tanks. And that having someone who can just constantly like feed off of is good. I think he's better than Storm, if that gives you any reference. Like Storm is, like I said, she barely makes the cut. I'd say Wolverine solidly makes it, but again, these aren't in order. Adam Warlock. I know people are going to find this controversial, but he depends too much on other characters. Maybe I'll do a video where I talk about team combos and correlations with this, but like, I don't consider Adam a troll pick, but he's pretty damn close. I'd probably put Adam as a B tier. I know you guys are going to all start screaming, Team Revive! Team Revive. The problem is everyone waits until the whole team is dead to do it, and then he gets sniped or shot or stabbed or whatever anyone wants to do to him here. It's so projectable. It's just like the Scarlet Witch Ultimate. You might as well be saying, please kill me, I want to die. It just doesn't do you any service there. I do think paired well with Mantis, he does crazy stuff with the extra life. Same with Star-Lord. I do like the fact that his soul split makes it so you can pretty much live through almost any ultimate, I believe. That being said, he's just not as good as some of the other strategists you're going to see. Oh, and one key note about Iron Man. Iron Man's ult can kill through, I believe, any like defensive ult. So Luna, Mantis, probably not Loki's, since Loki's is based off damage, but we'll see. Cloak and Dagger, she's good. I've slowly begun to get respect for her, but like, just barely when compared to some of the other, like the top tiers of them. I think that she's probably currently in the game, I'd say she's the third, maybe the fourth best support when it comes to rankability. I mean, she's got a decent ult. I wish it lasted a little bit longer. It also protects you from Hellas and Hawkeyes. It's almost impossible, I believe, to kill you in that thing. I think Hawkeye still can one-shot, but even Psylocke isn't able to, provided everyone stays in the damn square and you guys split the damage, or at least more than one person. I'm pretty sure otherwise it will kill you through it. Jeff is a troll pick in ranked. You cannot consistently rely on ledges to take people off. Taking yourself out of the fight isn't good. Jeff is fun. He gets his ult quick. he's probably like, no, he's definitely my favorite out of all the strategists when it comes to fun. He's a troll pick. Even if you're great with him, that just means you would do better with other strategists. Loki, eh. Loki's He's like slightly better than Adam, maybe, mainly because he's got that, left shift or whatever, where he protects the whole team, and that thing's tough. Again, people can snipe those, but they're tinier, so it's harder to really like commit to. And they only last a couple seconds. Most people just want to wait through that unless they've got a crazy ult they really need to get done, or they know that someone else is comboing. So I'm gonna put Loki there. Yes, you can copy in the ult in the game. 2 Luna Snow ult is great. 2 Hell ult is fantastic. 2 Psylocke ult is crazy. But like he's so situationally dependable. Like it depends on who you're facing. It depends on your team. And for that, he just doesn't have the same flexibility. Now, before I get to those two, I'm just going to skip here. I'm also putting Rocket in A along with Cloak and Dagger. I think that she's probably slightly better, mainly because people are going to be taking out that revive. But when they don't, and when a Rocket positions it properly, you really can get that value of getting someone right back in. Plus, paired well with the Punisher and Winter Soldier. Wait, can't factor that in. But it doesn't hurt to have a team composition. I'm just saying, having a team composition with them to be able to have that doesn't hurt his chances. He also partners, I think, with Groot. Like, he's a great character. I do think that he probably could have got his damage back up a little bit, but whatever. That's just my opinion. Maybe re-increase the ammo mac. These last two, spoiler. Mantis and Luna are the best supports to play. If they're not banned in your elo, play them. If you have not learned them, learn them. Otherwise, you are doing yourself a massive disservice by not capitalizing on their amazing ults, their healing. Mantis, she forms as like a DPS in herself, and that she's consistently causing pressure. Every headshot means another bulb. Luna can heal through people with her waves. Also, she can alternate between the gold and the. I gotta turn this up a little bit. She can alternate between the gold healing as well as the damage boost. I don't think this is a shock for either of them, the rest here. Now, if I had to order these and you put like a gun to my head and said order these guys, I would probably do, and this is going to be to scale, but I'd probably do something like you see, the thing is, Mantis is a better DP. Mantis is a better support strategist than Luna. But Luna's ult is better than Mantis's. I don't think that that's a controversial statement. But if I had to order them, it'd probably be... Yeah, Luna's a top 5, but so is Psylocke. Damn, this is tough. I probably should... I had a cheat sheet set up, but I don't want you guys to think I'm being dishonest about my honest thoughts on this, so I won't go straight to that. If I had to order them... Probably there, if I'm being truly honest with myself with those guys. Yeah, I think I honestly like this. I'd probably reorder this a little bit, but no one really cares about the B tier, the C tier. Everyone just wants to know. If I need to reiterate, don't play these guys. I'll even put Iron Fist in D tier if it makes it like more helpful, and Squirrel Girl. Don't play these guys, please. If you're trying to win in high elos, you're probably going to be better off playing these guys and having maybe 1 or 2 alternatives in the lower end with these B tier characters, just so you have something you can play around. If you guys love the King of Chaos and you want more videos like this, be sure to let me know in the comment section, because I honestly want to do a breakdown of each of the characters, and if you guys show me some support on this, I'd be happy to. So let me know what you think of the video in the comment section, and thank you for watching.